Hello world, this is Namandre and Jacob coming at you with some heat. Now about 50 years ago, the America we know today was very different. This was at a time of high racial tension and integration in America in the 1950s.
That's right, Demondre. Racial issues and the integrations of blacks and whites was starting to become a reality, though some still didn't agree with it. Take, for instance, Virginia, who at the time had a law in place that prevented interracial marriage. Though it wasn't used much, this law sparked a controversy that would engulf the nation when a Virginia man named Richard Loving married Mildred Jeter, a woman of Indian and African descent. They decided to hold their wedding in the District of Columbia, believing they could circumvent Virginia's anti-interracial marriage law. However, when they returned home to Virginia, the authorities decided to arrest them in their sleep, literally at 2 a.m. in the morning, and took them away for trial. When taken to trial bright and early the next morning, the obviously biased court ruled in favor of the unfair statute, finding the Lovings guilty on all accounts. Upon hearing the verdict, the couple quickly appealed to the Virginia Supreme Court, hoping that they would see the unfairness of their law and reverse the ruling. However, the exact opposite happened, with the Virginia Supreme Court agreeing with the law and giving the couple an ultimatum. They had to choose between leaving their home in Virginia for 20 years or each of them spending a year in prison. The couple chose exile, but were determined to return to their hometown. They swiftly wrote a writ of certiorari and patiently waited for the Supreme Court's response.
After a long 9 years, the case was heard by the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court. The 9 judges at the time ruled for a unanimous decision. The court found that the Virginia law had no legitimate purpose. The court rejected the state's argument that the statute was legitimate because it applied to both blacks and whites, and found that racial classifications were not subject to a rational purpose. It was a test under the 14th Amendment. The court also held that Virginia law violated the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Under our Constitution, quoted by and wrote by Chief Justice Earl Warren, the freedom to marry or not marry a person or another person resides with the individual and cannot be infringed by the state. Chief Justice Warren. Warren's opinion also were notable in his acknowledgement of the freedom to marry as one's basic civil rights of a man, fundamental to our very existence and survival, citing the Supreme Court's decision in the Skinner v. Oklahoma, 1942. To deny this freedom on so unstoppable of a basis as the racial classifications embodied in these statutes. Warren contended it would be to deprive all the state's citizens of liberty without due process of law. The Supreme Court's ruling overturned the Lovings conviction, and this had the effect on invalidating laws against interracial marriage in 15 other states as well.